Afternoon traders, it's Simon at Kairos Capital Markets with the weekly review of Aussie dollar, pound yen and euro dollar. So we was last week advocating a pullback on the dollar, and it appears now that the weekly chart has put a nice little doji in at the key level of 67. So I do feel the move down towards the weekly 50 EMA would be quite a good idea to take forward. When you come down to the daily chart, what happened here in the end, we had this little mini double top pattern forming at 97. Obviously, it moved a little bit more, then aggressively dropped down, and we had the pullback now here we have. So for this to head back down to 94, where the weekly 50 is, it has to break the daily 50. So effectively, 95.5 would be my real first target to aim for. And now we're just going to look for some bearish confirmation on the lower time frames. So obviously on the 4-hour chart here, you've still got this bearish MACD divergence. If I just zoom in here for the bottom, you've actually got it from this high here to this high here, which is good. And then you've got from these highs here and these lows here on the MACD. So you've got two divergences in one, if it makes sense. So that's nice to see. The only thing I'm worried about is the rejection of 96, because that has technically put in a higher low at the moment. And the bullish engulfing candles, they're my two concerns. They are as such. So for me to take any dollar pairs short, I need a little bit more confirmation, which we'll now go through bit by bit. So with Aussie dollar, for example, this is what you're facing right now. I was expecting a break out of the trend line and a retest, and what's happening, as you can see, you can see a high test on the on that trend line. Now obviously it's only one high test, it doesn't give you the overall like, oh, it's going to go back down again, but at the same time you just got to be careful. On the weekly perspective, you can see this trend line again really playing havoc, especially the 72 level as well, which has been key in the past as well. So for me to take this long, it's clearly got to break above the trend line, which I'm happy to wait for. If you do a break, we said break and retest of the trend line and 717, 72 area, that would be absolutely perfect to see. So that's what I'm waiting for here. On the lower time frames, you'll see again that you are going to struggle here. So again, you are respecting this, like I said, 72 here on the 4-hour chart. So a move back down would be kind of expected. You can put a level around about here, 714, and you've got your highs here, maybe 715. Let's put 715, looks a bit cleaner there. There we are. And you got some lows here as well from the head and shoulder pattern before. So a move back down to here would make sense on this. Testing the 4-hour 50 would be quite nice as well. So that's what I'll be looking for on this, and then maybe taking a long. But again, if you take a long, you're going into that key level and trend line. So that's not the most ideal situation. The euro dollar though gives us a little bit of a better signal, I feel. So let's have a look here. We've got so far. Notice how we've got a little doji here, same thing before at the key level, on the weekly key level of 1.14. I know 1.13 is the key daily level, but this is a weekly perspective. There's a little mini double bottom there. That's very nice to see. And obviously, again, a move back up to this weekly 50 would be ideal. I had an idea it coming up to here. It may well move up to 1.2 still, but that's a bit of a long-winded move, and it's a bit risky now. So obviously, it's not something I'll be looking for. On the lower time frame of the daily chart, what we have is, again, you can see this nice double bottom forming, bullish engulfing candle breakout, and we just got this like high test candle here. It kind of looks a bit strange. You may think, oh no, it's not going to move up as such, but when you come down to the lower time frames on euro dollar, you have on the 4-hour chart, we had this this like triangle type thing. Yeah, it faked out to the downside, rallied back up hard, and come back down to test the actual trend line. And as you can see now, we're around the 4-hour 50 as well. So for me personally, that gives a bit more opportunity. What I'm waiting for now though is a confirmation on the lower time frame. So really what I'm looking for now is maybe a move back down to test 1.138, test this trend line again, test the Fibonacci 0.5, put in some good volume candles on the lower time frame, so the 5-minute chart, see some rejections there, and then take a trade. So if you've got something like this, you want to put your stop behind here as such. and we can at least target the 1.15 area. And when you come out to the daily chart, 1.15 is where the daily 50 will come down to, so that would be a nice 2% trade, maybe something like that. That's a possibility. Again, likewise, so you might say no, I want to wait down to come down to the 1.135 area, which has been in the past here on the hour chart. So you might say no, I want to put my order here, have a tighter stop of say 30 pips or so, and then target the same level, and that's a 4.5% trade. So again, you've got options there. I'd say wait and see, wait for the confirmation so it happens, but clearly you've broken out of the this nice trend line here, and the bullish MACD divergence is obviously now taking place, which is nice to see. Pound yen. So we drew this inverse head and shoulder pattern last week, and obviously it's played out quite nicely. Now where we sit now on the lower time frame is quite difficult for you to trade, because it's now tucked back to this same area we took a trade before. If I go to the 4-hour chart, and you see what I mean here. So we're now back at this area of this box again. So you've got an inverse head and shoulder pattern on one chart, and you've got rejection of this level on another. So effectively now what I would do is I would expect, really, the daily 50 is now being disrespected most of the time, so I'm not too bothered about that. I would expect to move back up to at least this area here, and then hopefully we break the inverse head and shoulder pattern, and then we'd rally up higher afterwards. So that's what I'm expecting to happen. So I do expect price to actually do something like this, put a higher high in, that'd be nice to see, come down, test the neckline here around this level here, 1.15 area, and then we should see a nice breakout like that, and this should be higher than this high here, I'd expect. So that's what I'm kind of expecting along the next few weeks or so, and we will see how that plays out. Obviously the weekly perspective, you can see now how this head and shoulder pattern would, inverse head and shoulder pattern would play out. If we just draw a trend line down linking these highs here, once it does actually break and retest here, that trend line has been cleanly broken. So that's what I'm looking for there as well. But at the moment, just trying to pick a trade on here, I think you're taking too much risk as such. It's very, very difficult just to pick trades out of the air. I can see a level at 145.5, so if I just plop that in there for you guys quickly, there we are. It's a nice key level on the 4-hour chart. So if you move back down to this area here, putting a trade in there wouldn't actually be a bad thing as such. Could be some nice opportunity there. Maybe you can get a stop like that, nice little 1-to-1, 1.5% trade. So you've got something like that as well to play with. Obviously depends really what you're looking for, but that 145.5 is definitely a key area on the 4-hour chart. Okay guys, any questions, give us a shout. If not, take care and I'll speak to you soon.